Ho, 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 I guess. So, Netflix have decided to make The Snowman meets Edward Scissorhands meets Pinocchio meets generic Hallmark type movie. And for what? Hi, I'm Bridget and I'm back. I usually make Gilmore Girls review videos on this here channel, although I am going to branch out into other ones in the new year. But I am somewhat of a Grinch. Now, I don't hate Christmas, but I have to admit, I only like to hear about Christmas on Christmas Day, at the maximum Christmas Eve. Anytime before or after, it's a wrap. So I have challenged myself to sit down and watch a Christmas stroke holiday type movie. And this is the first one, Hot Frosty. So we start with very janky drone footage. The narrator is explaining that snowmen often come to life in Christmas stories. And I'm thinking, where? The snowman Raymond Briggs. But go off. So it's wintertime and we see a house that is jam-packed with Christmas decorations, and then the camera pans to another house next to it, which looks fine to me. We meet our main protagonist, Kathy. She appears to have no heating, a leaky roof, and she ends up having to wear her entire wardrobe just to keep warm. And I guess they're establishing that her life is a hot mess, but to me, her house looks great. I mean, a house like this in this economy, it's giving luxe. We see a picture of her and who we assume is her husband. And the picture looks like it's been taken in a different era. The thing about this film that is automatically bugging me is the colour. They have just slapped on a blue filter over this whole film, no colour correction. They've just whacked it on and said, you know what, that'll do. So one thing about this film is they are going to tell you what is going on. The exposition is a lot. Kathy, our protagonist, owns a diner, right? A diner. But for some reason, the name of the diner is Kathy's Cafe. Cafe spelt with a K. Because they're quirky. And it took me a hot second, but I just realised this is the girl from Mean Girls, right? Damn, get your Christmas bag. Anyway, the diner itself seems to be thriving, so why she can't get her roof fixed, her stairs fixed, I do not know. That's Chriselle from Selling Sunset. Hey, girl, hey. That's not important. Spoiler alert, we will never see this woman in this film again. Chriselle said, give me my 1-2 lines. I'm making that Selling Sunset money. So everyone in town seems to know Kathy, as is tradition in these sort of small town, homely Christmas movies. As I was talking about the signs before, not one bit of imagination or creativity went into these signs. Reclaimed rags. So Kathy goes into this secondhand store and we meet an older couple. So the older woman starts telling Kathy that when she was younger, she wore a new scarf and ended up meeting her current partner who's in the store. He's like, hey, that's me. I don't see the correlation between a scarf and meeting a partner, but go off. Anyway, she forces Kathy to take this red scarf that apparently has just come in and is like, hopefully this will give you some good luck.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Did she say she was cold? Did she say she was in need of a scarf? So Kathy's just wandering through the town and she comes across the ice sculpting competition. And she comes across this mysterious sculpture that has been carved with extreme abs. Is there really any competition? You've got a round head and round body looking snowman versus this precision. Anyway, Kathy decides to put the scarf that she's just been gifted around this sculpture's neck. I don't know why she chooses to do that, but I can only imagine it's going to move the plot along in some way. After she does this, she sees a little glint in the sculpture's eye and she's just like, casual, happens all the time, and she just walks away. Okay, girl. This film wastes no time because in the next frame, the sculpture comes to life. They really said, we've got an hour and a half to tell this story. Let's go, let's go. I'm sure he's a very nice man.
Sorry to this man.
But he is looking like a budget nude Edward Scissorhands. So an old couple walks past and the old lady is breaking her neck to get a glimpse of the man's, I don't know what. I guess it's been a while for grandma. Even though he's never been alive before, he understands that being naked is not the done thing. So he ends up crashing into the secondhand store and there is shattered glass everywhere and not a drop of blood on him. Okay, why am I questioning that part when a statue literally just came to life? Be for real, Bridget. Anyway, he finds some clothes at the store and puts it on. So Kathy's house is still busted and she sets off to work as usual. But this day is different because she bumps into the newly formed snow person. This man is trying to make us believe that he has never spoken before, tried food before, worn clothes before, and he is doing well.
I've never had food before. Is that okay?
A job? get your check, collect your money, go. So they head inside to her diner, and the chef has just decided out of nowhere that this guy could be a dangerous criminal. Why? He's just sitting at the counter eating candy canes, minding his business. As far as I know, being annoying isn't a crime. I mean, it should be. Okay, so why are all the annoying characters in this black? The sheriff comes in and he is so annoying, and he comes in because there's been a break-in at the store, and I'm presuming that this is a small town where nothing really happens. So he's like, yes, I get to actually do something. And he is acting like there is a serial killer on the loose when all that's really happened is some clothes have gone missing and some boots. So at the diner, Kathy's trying to find out what the snowman's name is, but because Hot Frosty has only been alive for a hot minute, he does not know his name. So she points to the sign on his overalls and she's like, Jack. And he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, we can go with Jack. And it's like, oh, okay, I see what you did there, Jack Frost. Okay, very clever. Anyway, Jack tells her that the last thing he remembers is her giving him her scarf last night and flashing something in his face because she actually took a picture. So she finds the picture in her phone and she convinces herself that somebody must be playing a trick on her because how could this sculpture have come to life? But then when she touches him, she realizes he is ice cold and she's like, we need to get you to a doctor. Cue the sheriff singing some random soulful song instead of doing his job. And I hate it here.
I'm literally miserable.
So the old couple who spotted Jack last night reported him as a streaker to the police. And the sheriff is even more determined to catch this person because now he's got a vandalist and a streaker. Meanwhile, at the doctor's office, she takes his temperature and she realizes that he is actually below 30 degrees, but he is also sweating. So Kathy tells the doctor that Jack thinks he's a snowman that has come to life. Now, despite having to obtain good grades in school, potentially take on a couple of jobs to be able to afford to get on a medical program, obtaining a medical degree, which would have taken a few years to graduate, this lady doctor throws all logic out the window and she's like,
Maybe he's telling the truth.
Ma'am?
Really?
Remove this woman's medical license immediately, if not sooner. Kathy also manages to sneak in a little niche reference.
Sure, right. And I'm the queen of Aldovia.
It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but I see you, Netflix. I know Aldovia is a fictional kingdom in The Christmas Prince. Anyway, the willingness to accept that this man is a snowman is just wild to me. But it gets wilder. Keep watching. So Jack says he wants to stay with Kathy, and I have watched enough true crime to know this is an absolute no, baby. But Kathy's like, okay, I guess. So they pull up to the house, and on the TV, Lindsay Lohan is there.
I know who I am.
That is so funny. That looks just like a girl I went to high school with.
Netflix are really trying to do up the Netflix cinematic Christmas movie universe.
I love it. I love it.
The law. Apparently, Kathy and her husband opened up the diner, and Kathy used to create loads of recipes, but for some reason she doesn't anymore. And Jack's like, oh, I want to work in the diner. So even though this snowman just came to life, he knows about capitalism. Okay. So Kathy leaves this man in her house, this stranger in her house, and goes to work. In what world, girl? This is insanity. Another thing is he keeps telling her he loves her, which is weird, but there are weirder things going on. So at the diner, and the doctor is there and she's not doing her job. She wasn't doing it in the office anyway. I guess she's on a long lunch break. So she's being nosy as hell and she wants to know wagwan with the snowman guy. So as they're chatting, in comes the annoying sheriff who's acting like he's Shaft. And he tells them that someone not only broke into the secondhand store, but they also were streaking, and he's going to find the perpetrator if it's the last thing he does. Back at Kathy's house, and Jack is watching TV and he's learning how to do things like cook. It's so random the things he finds offensive or scary considering he's never been alive. He jumps at the sight of a cat and seems to know what a horror movie is. Anyway, he heads down to Kathy's basement and he finds all her Christmas decorations. Amongst the Christmas decorations, there are wedding pictures of Kathy and her husband. And then he finds a file on her husband's cancer. In what world would medical records use this font? Comic Sans could never. The exposition in this file is a lot. Just have a voiceover narrator telling us the man's dead and spare us this nonsense. Also, Jack has never been alive, but somehow he can read. Kathy comes home from apparently the only store in town that sells clothes, and she has some clothes for Jack to wear, and he immediately starts stripping. So Kathy's like, oh, hold up now, hold up. You can't be doing them things around here. And she's like, you need to be more careful because the sheriff is after you. So Jack cooks them pizza and eggnog from the one TV show that he watched, and he asks Kathy what cancer is. She spills all the tea to this random stranger that has just come to live in her house, and she's like, yeah, my husband died very quickly of cancer. That is actually sad. They end up sharing an awkward moment where their fingers touch. Okay. They eat together and a program comes on about Hawaii, and Jack's like, oh my God, that place looks lit. Can we go? And Kathy's trying to explain to him that you don't just meet a stranger and go on holiday with them. Are we supposed to buy into the fact that she's being uptight because she does not want to go on holiday with a stranger? She already done let the man move into her house. So Jack tries to hug Kathy and she's like, I don't really do hugs. Again, are we supposed to feel like her not wanting to have physical contact with a stranger is wrong? Because has anyone seen true crime out here? Because if this was the case, why were serial killers invented? So Jack watches a show about fixing a roof on TV and gets about fixing the roof with his shirt off in the snow because he's a snowman. Right. Another old lady drives by the house whilst he's on the roof and she nearly breaks her neck and crashes her car to get a glimpse of him. She's like, back it up, back it up, back it up. Is every single old lady in the town horny? Also, is this supposed to be a family-friendly show? Because certain innuendos, I was like, So the older lady asks Jack if he can help her with her lights. And he's like, oh my God, sure, because he's really helpful like that. And then she invites him to her house to fix things and invites all her other older horny lady friends. So they give him a ride to the diner and the sheriff wants to question him. The sheriff and him end up having a weird ice off and honestly not much to report here. So Kathy is insisting that Jack lays low, stay home because the sheriff is after you. But he's like, no, because I've got to help all the horny older ladies at the school. I promised them I'd help them with maintenance. And she's like, okay, do you. If you end up melting in a jail cell, that's on you.
Foreshadowing.
So they come home to find that Jack, or Jim or Fix It Snowman, has fixed all the leaks, all the cracks, and he's decorated the entire house for Christmas. Now, did she ask you to do that? So she goes into his room to thank him and he's in there sulking because for some reason, for someone who's just been alive, he's become acutely aware of his own mortality. And he's like, I just want to do good on this earth before I melt for good. Okay, Alphaba. Kathy's like, fine. I mean, I don't know why he's acting like he actually needs her permission. You've known this lady for a day. So she says, you can help other people as long as I pick you up and drop you off at each location, and that he should not tell anyone about his identity as a snowman. So he goes to the school and helps them get ready for the school dance. And I have to admit, this montage of them getting all the Christmas decorations up is cute AF. And Kathy appears to be changing with the effect that Jack is having on her. And pray tell why. There was nothing wrong with her in the first place. She seemed like a nice enough person, working hard, being friendly to people, grieving for her dead husband. Is that really such a bad thing? Anyway, now she's all giddy and she lets him know that everyone in the town finds him hot. And he's like, who, me? He's like, I thought you said it takes ages for people to fall in love. Again, nothing wrong with that. Kathy also tells him that everyone in the town doesn't think that she's been taking care of herself properly. But it's like, can this bitch grieve? Like, she's lost her husband. She's running a thriving business on her own. And she has some home repairs to take care of. She's hardly a candidate for Tinder. Let the woman breathe. Lord of mercy. Her husband's body is barely cold. Unlike this man's. So Jack has basically been using Amazon and using Kathy's credit card at that. And he buys a replacement glass for the secondhand store that he broke and shattered. Kathy is remarkably chill about the fact that he used her card.
Here's the thing. My computer has my credit card information. So when you use my computer...
Absolutely not me. Especially because she still believes he's a normal dude and not a snowman. Jack goes into the store and admits that it was him that broke the glass. And again, the couple that run it are remarkably chill about it. They're like, it's cool. And the husband and wife exchange knowing glances. Because remember, that was the woman that gave Kathy that red scarf in the first place that seems to be fused to his neck. So what, are we going to find out that her husband was a penguin once?
Because you can replace the glass, but you can't replace the pain.
We didn't replace the pane. A whole new pane of glass here.
No.
Oh my God, this pun. I'll tell you who's in pain over here watching this. Me. So at the school, and Jack is eavesdropping on some teenagers. And this super cute kid is trying to ask this girl out. And I guess we're supposed to believe that the interaction goes well because Jack decorated the school with some balloons. Okay. It is a sweet moment, I will admit that. But my man Jack is smug. He's like... So Jack ends up in the sheriff's office, and they're obviously still trying to figure out who the streaker is, who the vandalist is. And so they've got like an evidence board, and Jack sees it and he's like, oh my God, an art project. Do you want to take my picture? And the sheriff, who is suspicious of Jack, is like, yeah, perfect, actually. So Jack decides to ask the sheriff's right-hand man, Ed, for some dating advice, even though he does not know this man, because he's decided that he wants to ask Kathy out on a proper date. He was inspired by the teenagers.
That's weird.
So Jack goes home and he does pluck up the courage to ask Kathy to the school dance. And she says yes. Yay! They end up going on a shopping spree to find a suit for Jack to wear. And pray tell, who is paying for this shopping spree? Wow, she is sugar mama for real.
Bling, bling, bling. This is mad.
Also, you had money to spend frivolously on a guy that you just met, but you couldn't get your roof fixed.
You getting that? I'm getting it. I don't get it.
I'm going to need you to get your priorities straight, Kathy. So they both end up looking pretty good for this dance. And Jack hands her a snowflake necklace and is like, yeah, I bought this for you online with my money.
You gotta be kidding.
You have to be effing kidding.
She likes it. I love it. So they leave for the high school dance and Jack spots a snowman and he's like,
mind you of anyone you know?
And it's like, not really, because you really don't look like a snowman. So Jack starts chatting to this kid, the kid from earlier, and the kid's nervous because he really wants to ask the girl to dance, but he doesn't know how. And Jack's like, oh, I'm nervous too, and I want to ask Kathy. Maybe we should do it together.
Loser.
Anyway, this next scene, these kids are done dirty. They break out into the deadest choreo of all time. You are lying. No one is impressed by this travesty. God bless these children, but they have hired the most uncoordinated children of life. You're telling me you couldn't rock up to one stage school in America and cast some children who could dance?
Hello, Rainiers Productions, home of the Abbey Lee Dance Company.
Have you all never seen Dance Mums? So Kathy notices that the snowman outside has melted and she realizes that this could be Jack's fate too, even though she hasn't really let us know that she fully believes he even is a snowman. They head outside for some fresh air and Jack is about to lean in and kiss Kathy when he just suddenly decides no. And they head back inside and Kathy is confusion. Rightly so, the man has been telling her he loves her. But Jack says that he does not know how long he has left and therefore does not want to hurt her like she's been hurt in the past. So the stupid sheriff is back, and honestly, delete this. He finds an ATM machine and he realizes that it's pointed to the reclaimed rag store and he's like, oh, that means there's a camera so I can find out who the streaker was and who the vandalizer is. Literally no one cares. The diner is having a Christmas party and the sheriff takes the opportunity to bust Jack in front of everyone. He gets vexed because, again, literally no one cares, and he arrests Jack and everyone is sad about it. The doctor blurts out that Jack is a snowman who came to life, and everyone in the diner just casually accepts this like this is normal behavior.
Huh? What? Oh. Okay.
At the station, and the sheriff is trying to get Jack's fingerprints, but seeing as he's a snowman, he doesn't have any fingerprints. And the sheriff is obsessed with keeping Jack in jail, and Kathy comes to rescue him, but Jack is melting. The sheriff's like, sorry, he did the crime. He needs to do the time. If you want him out, you're going to have to get some bail money. So she goes to the diner to get some bail money, but she realizes she doesn't have enough. And she explains it to the people in the diner, and everyone in the town donates money for his bail.
Wait a damn minute.
They are still $10 short by the time they get to the jail, and the only black kid in the whole town gives his last $10, and it also turns out that the only black kid in the town is the son of the sheriff, who's the only other black man in the town. Eventually, the sheriff sees the error of his ways, I guess because his son's involved now, and he says, everyone, get your money back. He can come out of jail. But it's too late. Jack has melted. And the sheriff is like, I am so sorry. I'm sorry, but this man had 30 seconds to accept the fact that a snowman had come to life and melted and died. I mean, he is annoying as hell, but that is a different crime. So Kathy professes her love for Jack while he is out there in the snow, just melting away. So she loses her husband and now she's losing the guy that she liked. And I'm like, well, damn, what the hell is the point of this film? Has she not suffered enough? Don't worry. Jack wakes up and becomes a real boy like Pinocchio. All this for a man with no job, no financial stability, no financial prospects. At Kathy's house, and they're sitting and they're gifting presents to each other. And
I couldn't help but wonder
who'd pay for his gift to her? Because I know this man does not have a job. He has just become alive. Anyway, he gets her a book with her money and she gets him a trip to Hawaii.
Oh, hell no!
Let this be a lesson to you all this gifting season. Find out what the other person is buying you first. The end. I hope you all enjoyed this. I'll be back soon with another Gilmore Girls review and hopefully another Christmas movie review, but this one wore me out. Okay, bye.